Won't you? What's the trade? A few hours of bonus TV. No, Catherine said. Something is up with the TV. What's wrong with the TV? I don't know, Catherine said. It's working fine, but the kids won't go near it. It's not that great. It's the same thing as the toothbrush. You will see when you get home. I mean, it's not just the kids. I was watching the news earlier and then I had to turn it off. It was not the news, it was the TV. So it's the downstairs bathroom and the coffee maker and Carleton's toothbrush and now the TV. There is some other stuff as well. Since this morning, your office apparently, everything in it, your desk, your bookshelves, your chair, even the paper clips. That's probably a good thing, right? I mean that way. They will stay out of there, I guess, Catherine said. The thing is us. I went and stood in there for a while and it gave me the creeps too. So now I can't pick up mail and I had to throw out more soap. And King Spanky does not love the alarm clock anymore. He won't come out from under the bed when I set it off. The alarm clock too. It does sound different, Catherine said. Just a little bit different. Or maybe I am insane. This morning Carleton told me that he knew where our house was. He said we were living in a secret part of Central Park. He said he recognizes the tree. He thinks that if he walks down that little path, he will get mugged. I have really got to go, Henry, or I am going to wet my pants. And I don't have time to change again before everyone gets here. I love you, Henry said. Then, why are not you here? Catherine said victoriously. She hung up and went down the hallway towards the downstairs bathroom. But when she got there, she turned around. She went racing up the stairs, pulling down her pants as she went, and barely got to the master bathroom in time. All day long she had gone up and down the stairs, feeling extremely silly. There was nothing wrong with the downstairs bathroom. It's just the fixtures. When you flush the toilet or run water in the sink, she does not like the sound the water makes. Several times now, Henry had come home and found Catherine painting rooms, which was a problem. The problem was that Henry kept going away. If he did not keep going away, he would not have to keep coming home. That was Catherine's point. Henry's point was that Catherine was not supposed to be painting rooms while she was pregnant. Pregnant women were not supposed to breathe around paint fumes. Catherine solved this problem by wearing the gas mask. While she painted, she had none. The gas mask would come in handy. She told Henry she promised to stop painting as soon as he started working at home, which was the plan. Meanwhile, she would not decide on colors. She and Carleton and Tilly spent hours looking at paint strips with colors that had names like sangria, peat bog, tulip, tantum, planetarium, etc., etc. It was a wonderful way to spend time. They went off to school, and when they got home, the living room would be half seen instead of full moon. They had spent some time with that color, getting to know it, ignoring the television which was haunted. Haunted was not the right word of course, but Catherine could not think that the right word was. And then a couple of days later, Catherine would go buy some more primer and start again. Carleton and Tilly loved this. They begged her to repaint their bedroom. She did. She wished she could eat paint. Whenever she opened a can of paint, her mouth watered. When she had been pregnant with Carleton, she had not been able to eat anything except for olives and hearts of palm and dry toast. When she had been pregnant with Tilly, she had eaten dirt, once in Central Park. Tilly thought they should name the baby after a paint color, chalk or Diri Diri or Keyhole, Rapist Raju Diri, knock knock. Catherine kept meaning to ask Henry to take the television and put it in the garage. Nobody ever watched it now. They had they had to pay stop using the microwave as well and colander. Some of the flatware and she was keeping an eye on the toaster. She had a premonition or an intuition. It did not feel wrong, not yet. But she had a feeling about it. There was a gorgeous pair of earrings that Henry had given her. How was it possible to be spooked by a pair of diamond earrings? And yet, Carleton would not play with this. Lincoln Logs, and so they were going to Salvation Army, and Therese Armadillo purse had disappeared. Therese had not said anything about it, and Catherine had not wanted to ask. Sometimes, if Henry was not coming home, Catherine painted after Carleton and Terry went to bed. Sometimes Terry would walk into the room where Catherine was working. Terry's eyes closed, her mouth open, a tourist so man Buddhist. She had stand there, with her head cocked towards Catherine. If Catherine spoke to her, she never answered, and if Catherine took her hand, she would follow Catherine back to her own bed and lie down again. But sometimes Catherine let Terry stand there and keep her company. Terry was never so attentive, so present when she was awake. Eventually she would turn and leave the room and Catherine would listen to her climb back up the stairs. Then she would be alone again. Catherine dreams about colors. It turns out her marriage was the same color. She had just painted the foyer velveteen fade. Leonard Felter, who had had an ongoing affair with two of his graduate students, several adjuncts, two tenured faculty members, brought down Catherine's entire department and saved Catherine's marriage, would make a good lipstick or nail polish. Peach Snooky. There is the crocodile, a particularly bilious EOD whale, a color that tastes bad when you say it. Her mother, who had always been disappointed by Catherine's choices, turned out to have been a beautiful rich deep chocolate. Why had not Catherine ever seen that before? Too late, too late. It made her want to cry. Liz and Steve are drinking paint. They can pay us. Cream. Have some more paint, Catherine says. Do you want sugar? Yes, lots, Liz says. What color are you going to paint the rabbits? Catherine passes her the sugar. She had not even thought about the rabbits, except which rabbits does Liz mean, the stone rabbits or the real rabbits? How do you make them hold still? I got something for you, Liz said. She's got Terry's armadillo purse. It's full of paint sticks. Catherine's mouth fills with saliva. Henry dreams he has an appointment with the exterminator. You have got to take care of this, he says. We have two small children. These things could be rabbit. They might carry plague. See what I can do, the exterminator said. A sounding drum. He stands next to Henry. He is an odd-looking, twitchy guy. He has big ears. They contemplate the skyscrapers that poke out of the grass like obelisks. The lawn is teeming with skyscrapers. Never seen anything like this before. Never wanted to see anything like this. But if you want my opinion, it's the house that's a real problem. Never mind about my wife, Henry says. He squats down beside a knee-high Art Deco skyscrapers and peers into a window. A little man looks back at me and shakes his fist, screaming something obscene. He has never felt this angry before in his life, not even when Catherine told him that she had accidentally slept with Leonard Feather. The little bastard is going to regret what he just said, whatever it was. He lifted his foot. A little man looks back at him and shakes his fist, screaming something obscene. Henry flicks a finger at the window, almost hard enough to break it. He feels hot all over. He has never felt this angry before in his life. The exterminator says, I won't do that. If I were you, you have to dig them up, get the roots. Otherwise, they just go back. Like your house, which is really just the tip of the iceberg, lettuce, so to speak. You have probably got 70, 80 stories underground. You gone down on the elevator yet? Talked to the people living down there. It's your house and you are just going to let them live there, rent-free. Mess with your things like that. What? Henry says, and then he hears helicopter, fighter planes the size of hummingbirds. Is this really necessary? He says to the exterminator. The exterminator nods. You have to catch them off guard. Maybe we are being hasty, Henry said. He has to air to the herd above the noise of the tiny, furious planes. Maybe we can settle this peacefully. Henry, the interrogator says, shaking his head. You called me in because I am the expert and you knew you needed help. Henry wants to say, you are saying my name wrong, but he does not want to hurt the undertaker's feeling. The alligator keeps on talking. Listen up, Henry and Sutton, about negotiations and such. Because if we don't take care of this right away, it may be too late. This is not about home ownership or lawn care. Henry, this is war. The lives of your children are at stake. The happiness of your family. Be brave, be strong. Just hang on to your rabbit and fire when you see delight in their eyes. He woke up. Catherine, he whispered, are you awake? I was having this dream. Catherine laughed. That's a phone rage, she said. It is probably Henry, saying he will be late. Catherine, Henry said. Who are you talking to? Are you mad at me, Henry? Catherine said, is that why you won't come home? I'm right here, Henry said. You take your rabbits and your crocodiles and get out of here, Catherine said, and then come straight home again. She sat up in bed and pointed her finger. I'm sick and tired of being spied on my rabbits. When Henry looked, something stood beside the bed, walking back and forth on its heels. He fumbled for the right, got it on, and saw Tilly, her mouth open, her eyes closed. She looked larger than she ever did when she was away. It's just Tilly, he said to Catherine. But Catherine lay back down again. She put her pillow over the head. When he picked Tilly up to carry her back to bed, she was warm and sweaty, her heart racing as if she had been running through all the rooms of the house. He walked through the house. He wept on walls, testing. He put his ear against the floor. No elevator, no secret rooms, no hidden passageways. There is not even a basement. Tilly has divided the yard in half. Carleton is not allowed in her half, unless she gives permission. From the bottom of her half of the yard, where the trees run beside the driveway, he can barely see the house. She has decided to name the yard Matilda Rabbit Kingdom. Tilly loves naming things. When the new baby is born, her mother was promised that she can help pick out the real names, although there will only be two real names, a first one and a middle. Tilly does not understand why there can only be two. Oishi means delicious in Japanese. That would make a good name, either for the baby or for the yard because of the grass. She knows the yard is not as big as Central Park, but it's just as good. Even if there are not any pagodas or castles or carriages. Maybe her dad can stop working in New York and come work under the lawn instead. She could help him go to work with him. She could be a biologist like Jane Goodell and go and live underground with the rabbits. Last year her ambition had been to go and live secretly in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. But someone has already done that, even if it's not only in a book. He feels sorry for Carleton. Every thought, everything he ever does, she will have already been there. She will already have done that. He has left her armadillo purse sticking out of rabbit hole. First she made the hole bigger, then she packed the dirt back in around the armadillo so that only the shiny peeled snout poked out. Carleton digs it out again with his stick. Maybe T made him to find it. Maybe it was a present for the rabbits. Except what is it doing here? In his half of the yard. When he lived in the apartment, he was afraid of the armadillo purse. But there are better things to be afraid of out here. But be careful, Carleton. Might as well be careful. The armadillo purse says, "Don't touch me." So he does not. He uses his stuck stick to pry open the snap mouth, dump out T's most valuable things, and with his stick pushes them one by one down the hole. Then he puts his ear to the rabbit hole so that he can hear the rabbits say thank you. Saying thank you is polite, but the rabbits say nothing. They are holding their breath, waiting for him to go away. Carleton waits too. T's armadillo, empty and smelly and haunted, makes his eyes water. Someone comes up and stands behind him. "I did not do it," he says. They fell. But when he turns around, it's the girl who lives next door, Allison. The sun is behind her and make her sign. He squints. "You can come over to my house if you want to," she says. "Your mom says she's going to pay me $15 an hour, which is way too much. Are your parents really rich or something?" "What's that?" "It's T's," he says, "but I don't think she wants it anymore." She picks up T's armadillo. "Pretty cool." She says, "Maybe I will keep it for her." Deep underground, the rabbits stamp their feet in ways. Catherine loves the house. She loves her new life. She has never understood people who get stuck, become unhappy, can't change, can't adapt. So she is out of job. So what? She will find something else to do. So Henry can't leave his job yet. Won't leave his job yet. So the house is haunted. That's okay. They will work to get through it. She buys some books on gardening. She plants a rose bush and a climbing vine in a pot. He helps the rabbits eat off all the leaves. They bite through the vine. "Sit," Catherine says. When she sees what they have done, she shakes her fist at the rabbits on the lawn. The rabbits flick their ears at her. They are laughing. She knows it. She is too big to chase after them. "Henry, wake up, wake up." "I am awake," he said, and then he was. Catherine was crying noisy, red, ugly sobs. He puts his hand out and touched her face. Her nose was running. "Stop crying," he said. "I am awake." "Why are you crying?" "Because you were not here," she said. "And then I woke up and you were here. But when I wake up tomorrow morning, you will be gone again. I miss you. Don't you miss me?" "I'm sorry," he said. "I'm sorry I'm not here." "I'm here now. Come here." "No," she said. She stopped crying, but her nose still leaked. "And now the dishwasher is haunted. We have to get a new dishwasher before I have this baby. You can't have a baby and not have a dishwasher. And you have to Live here with us, because I'm going to need some help this time. Remember Carleton? How fucking hard that was. He was one cranky baby, Henry said. When Carleton was 3 months old, Henry had realized that they had misunderstood something. Babies were not babies. They were landmines, bear traps, wasp nests. They were a noise, which was sometimes even not a noise but merely a listening for a noise. They were a damp, chalky smell. They were the having, jerky, sticky manifestation of not sleep. Once Henry had stood and watched Carleton in his crib, sleeping peacefully. He had not done what he wanted to do. He had not bent over and ate in Carleton's ears. Henry still had not forgiven Carleton, not yet, not entirely, but for making him feel that way. Why do you have to love your job so much? Catherine said. I don't know, Henry said. I don't love it. Don't lie to me, Catherine said. I love you better. Henry said, he does. He does love Catherine better. He's already made that decision, but she is not even listening. Remember when Carleton was little and you would get up in the morning and go to work and leave me all alone with them? Catherine poked him in the side. I used to hate you. You had come home with takeover, and I had forgot I hated you. But then I had remembered again, and I did hate you even more because it was so easy for you to trick me, to make things okay again. But just because for an hour I could sit in the bathtub and eat Chinese food and wash my hair. You used to carry an extra shirt with you when you went out, Henry said. He put his hand down inside her t-shirt on her fat full breast. In case you leaked, you can't touch that breast, Catherine said. It's haunted. She blew her nose on the seat. Catherine's friend Lucy owns an online boutique, nice clothes for fat people. There is a woman in Tarrytown who knits stretchy, sexy, argyle sweaters exclusive for NCFP, and Lucy has an appointment with her. She wants to stop off and see Catherine afterwards, before she has to drive back to the city again. Catherine gives her direction and then begins to clean house, feeling out of sorts. She is not sure she wants to see Lucy right now. Carleton has always been afraid of Lucy, which is embarrassing, and Catherine does not want to talk about Henry. She does not want to explain about the downstairs bathroom. She had planned to spend the day painting the wood trim in the dining room, but now she will have to wait. The doorbell rings, but when Catherine goes to answer it, no one is there. Later on, after tea and Carleton have come home, it rings again, but no one is there. It rings, and if Lucy is standing outside, pressing the bell over and over again, finally Catherine pulls out the wire. She tries calling Lucy's cell phone, but can't get through. Then Henry calls. He says that he is going to be late. Liz opens the front door. Alice. Hello. Anyone home? You have got to see your rabbits. There must be thousands of them. Catherine, is something wrong with your doorbell? Henry's bike so far was okay. He wondered what they had do if the Toyota suddenly became haunted. Would Catherine want to sell it? Would resale value be affected? The car and Catherine and the kids were gone when he got home, so he put on a pair of work gloves and went to the house with a cardboard box, collecting all the things that felt haunted. A hairbrush in Tilly's room, an old pair of Catherine's tennis shoes, a pair of Catherine's underwear that he finds at the foot of the bed. When he picked them up, he felt a sudden shock of longing for Catherine, like he had been hit by some kind of spooky lightning. It hit him in the pit of the stomach, like a cramp. He dropped them in the box, the silk kimono from Takashimaya, two of Carleton's nightlights. He opened the door to his office, put the box inside. All the hair on his arms stood up. He closed the door. Then he went downstairs and cleaned paintbrushes. If the paintbrushes were becoming haunted, if Catherine was throwing them out and buying new ones, she was not saying. Maybe he should check the visa bill. How much were they spending on paint? Anyway, Catherine came into the kitchen and gave him a hug. I'm glad you are home, she said. He pressed his nose into her neck and inhaled. I left the car running. I have got to pee. Would you go pick up the kids for me? Where are they? Henry said. They are over at Ritz. Allison is babysitting them. Do you have money on you? You mean I will meet some neighbors? Wow, sure, Catherine said. If you think you are ready. Are you ready? Do you know where they live? They are our neighbors, right? Take a lift left out of the driveway. Go about a quarter of a mile, and they are the red house with all the trees in front. But when he drove up to the red house and went and rang the doorbell, no one answered. He heard a child come running down a flight of stairs and then stop and stand in front of the door. Carleton, Allison, he said. Excuse me, this is Catherine's husband, Henry. Carleton and T is dead. The whispering stopped. He waited for a bit. When he crouched down and lifted the mail slot, he thought he saw someone's feet, the hem of a coat, something furry, a dog. Someone standing very still, just to the right of the door. Carleton, playing games. I see you, he said, and wiggled his fingers to the mail slot. Then he thought maybe it was not Carleton after all. He got up quickly and went back to the car. He drove into town and brought more soap. Tilly was standing in the driveway when he got home, her hands on her hips. Hi, Dad, she said. I am looking for King Spanky. He got outside. Look what Allison found. She held out a tiny toy bowstring with what looked like dental floss and arrow as small. Be careful with them, Henry said. It looks sharp. Archery Barbie, right? So did you guys have a good time with Allison? Allison's okay, Tilly said. She belched. Excuse me, I don't feel very good. What's wrong? Henry asked. My stomach is funny, he said. She looked up at him, frowned and then vomited all over his shirt, his pants. Tilly, he said. He yanked off his shirt, used a sleeve to wipe her mouth. The vomit was foamy and blue. It tastes horrible, she said. She sounded surprised. Why does it always taste so bad when you throw up? So that you won't go around doing it for fun, he said. Are you going to do it again? I don't think so, she said, making a face. Then I'm going to go wash up and change clothes. What were you eating anyway? Grass, he said. Well, no wonder, Henry said. I thought you were smarter than that. Dee, don't do that anymore. I was not planning to, he said. She spat in the grass. When Henry opened the front door, he could hear Catherine talking in the kitchen. The funny thing is, she said, none of it was true. It was just made up. Just like something Carleton would do. Just to get attention, Dad, Carleton said. He was jumping up and down on one foot. Want to hear a song? I was looking for you, Henry said. Did Allison bring you home? Do you need to go to the bathroom? Why are not you wearing any clothes? Carleton said. Someone in the kitchen laughed as if they had heard this. I had an accident, Henry said, whispering. But you are right, Carleton. I should go change. He took a shower, vanished and wrung out his shirt. Put on clean clothes. But by the time he got downstairs, Catherine and Carleton and Tilly were eating Cheerios for dinner. They were using paper bowls, plastic spoons, as if it were a picnic. Liz was here, and Allison. But they were going to a movie, she said. They said they had meet you some other day. It was awful. When they came in the door, King Spanky went cousin outside. He has been watching the rabbits all day. If he catches one, Tilly is going to be so upset. Tilly's been eating grass, Henry said. Tilly rolled her eyes as if, not again, Catherine said. Tilly, real people don't eat grass. Oh, look, fantastic. There's King Spanky, who let him in. What's he got in his mouth? King Spanky sits with his back to them. He cups and something drops to the floor. Maybe a frog or a baby rabbit. It goes scrabbling across the floor, half leaping, dragging one leg. King Spanky just sits here, watching as it disappears under the sofa. Carleton freaks out. He is shouting, "Bad King Spanky, bad cat." When Henry and Catherine push the sofa back, it's too loud. There's just King Spanky and a little blob of sticky blood on the floor. Catherine would like to write a novel. She had liked to write a novel with no children in it. The problem with novels with children in them is that bad things will happen either to the children or else to the parents. She wants to write something funny, something romantic. It is not very comfortable to sit down now that she is so big. She has started writing on the walls. She writes in pencils. She names her characters after paint colors. She imagines them leading beautiful, happy, useful lives. No haunted posters. No mothers, no children, no crocodiles, no photocopy machines, no Leonard filters. She writes for 2 or 3 hours and then she paints the wall again before anyone gets home. That's always the best part. I need you next weekend, the crocodile said. Her rubber band ball sat on the floor beside her desk. She had her feet up on it in an attempt to show it who was boss. The rubber band ball was getting too big for its britches. Someone was going to have to teach it a lesson and send it a memo. She looked tired and he said, "You don't need me." "I do," Crocodile said. "Ian, I do. The clients want to take you out to dinner at Four Seasons when they come into the town. They want to go see musical with you. Rent Phantom of the Cabaret Lion. They want to go to Coney Island with you and eat hot dogs. They want to go out to trendy bars and clubs and pick up strippers and publicists and performance artists. They want to talk about poetry, philosophy, sports, politics, their loosey relationship with their fathers. They want to ask you for advice about their love life. They want you to come to the weddings of their children and make toast. You are indispensable, honey. I hope you know that. Catherine and I are having some problems with the rabbits," Henry says. The rabbits were easier to explain than the other two. "They have taken over the yard. Things are a little crazy. I don't know anything about rabbits," the crocodile said, digging her pointy heels into the flesh of the rubber band ball until she could feel the red rubber blood come running out. She twinned Henry with her beautiful watery eyes. "Henry," she said his name so gently that he had to lean forward to hear what she was saying. She said, "You have the best of both worlds, a wife and children who adore you, a beautiful house in the country, a secure job at a company that depends on you, a boss who appreciates your talents, clients who think you are the shit. You are the shit, Henry, and the thing is, you are probably thinking that no one deserves to have all this. You think you have to make a choice. You think you have to give up something, but you don't have to give up anything. Henry, and anyone who tells you otherwise is fucking rabbit. Don't listen to them. You can have it all. You deserve to have it all. You love your job. Do you love your job?" "I love my job," Henry said. The crocodile smiles at him tearily. It's true, he loves his job. When Henry came home, it must have been after midnight, because he never got home before midnight. He found Catherine standing on a ladder in the kitchen, one foot resting on the sink. She was wearing her gas mask, a black cotton sportswear, and a pair of black sweatpants rolled down on so he could see she was not wearing any underwear. Her stomach stuck out so far. She had to hold her arms at a funny angle to run the roller up and down the wall in front of her, up and down in a V. Then fill the V in. C V, victory for V. She had painted the kitchen ceiling a shade of purple so dark it almost looked black. Midnight eggplant. Catherine has been buying paints from a specialty catalog. All the colors are named after famous books. Madame Bovary, Forever Amber, Fahrenheit 451, Tin Drum, A Curtain of Green, 20,000 Leagues Beneath the Sea. She was painting the walls Catch-22, a novel she had taught over and over again to undergraduates. It always went over well. The paint color was nice too. She could not decide if she missed teaching. The thing about teaching and having children is that you always ended up treating your children like undergraduates and your undergraduates like children. There was a particular tone of voice. She had even used it on Henry a few times, just to see if it worked. All the cabinets were fenced around with masking tape, like a crime scene. The room stank of new paint. Catherine took off the gas mask and said, T picked it out. What do you think? Her hands were on her stomach. He picked it out. What do you think? Her hands were on her hip. Her stomach poked out at Henry. The gas mask had left a ring of white and red around her eyes and chin. Henry said, How was the dinner party? We had fettuccine. Liz and Marcus stayed and helped me to do the dishes. Is something wrong with your dishwasher? No, I mean yes. We are getting a new one. She had had a feeling. It had been a feeling like deja vu, or being drunk, or falling in love. Like teaching, she had imagined an audience of rabbits out on the lawn, watching her dinner party. A classroom of rabbits, watching a documentary rabbit television. Her skin had felt erected. So she is a royal, Henry said. You have not yet even met them yet, Catherine said, suddenly feeling possessive. But I like them. I really, really like them. They wanted to know all about us. I think they think that either we are having marriage problems or that you are imaginary. Finally, I took Liz upstairs and showed her your stuff in the closet. I pulled out the wedding album and showed them photos. Maybe we could invite them over on Sunday for a cookout. Henry said. Away next weekend, Catherine said. They are going up to the mountains on Friday. They have a house up there. They have invited us to come along. I can't, Henry said. I have to take care of some clients next weekend. Some big sorts. We are having some cash flow problems. Besides, are you allowed to go away? Did you check with your doctor? What's his name again? Dr. Marks. You mean, did I get my permission slip signed? Catherine said. Henry put his hand on her leg and held on. Dr. Mark said, I am ship-shape. Those were his exact words. Or maybe he said tip-top. It was something alliterative. Well, I guess. You ought to go then. Henry said he rested his head against her stomach. She let him. He looked so tired. Before golf cart. Souza. Or what is T calling a baby now? She's around here somewhere. Catherine said. I keep putting her back in her bed and she keeps getting out again. Maybe she is looking for you. Did you get my email? Henry said. He was listening to Catherine's stomach. He was not going to stop touching her unless she told him to. You know I can't check email on your computer anymore, Catherine said. This is so stupid, Henry said. This house is not haunted. There is not any such thing as a haunted house. It is not the house, Catherine said. It's the stuff we brought with us, except for the downstairs bathroom, and that might just be a draft or an electrical problem. The house is fine. I love the house. Our stuff is fine, Henry said. I love our stuff. If you really think our stuff is fine, Catherine said, then why did you buy a new alarm clock? Why do you keep throwing out the soap? It's the move, Henry said. It was a hard move. King Spanky has not eaten his food in 3 days, Catherine said. At first I thought it was the food and I bought new food, and he came down and ate it, and I realized it was not the food. It was King Spanky. I could not sleep all night, knowing he was up under the bed. Poor spooky guy. I don't know what to do. Take him to the wait. What do I say? Excuse me, but I think my cat is haunted. Anyway, I can't get him out of the bed. Not even with the old alarm clock. The haunted one. I will try, Henry said. Let me try and see if I can get him out. But he did not move. Catherine tugged at a piece of his hair and he put up his hand. She gave him her roller. He popped off the cylinder and bagged it and put it in the freezer, which was full of paintbrushes and other rollers. He helped Catherine down from the ladders. I wish you would stop painting. I can't see, she said. It has to be perfect. If I can just get it right, then everything will go back to normal and stop being haunted, and the rabbits won't tunnel under the house and make it fall down, and you will come home and stay home. And our neighbors will finally get to meet you, and they will like you and you will like them, and Carleton will stop being afraid of everything. And Tilly will fall asleep in her own bed and stay there. And hey, Henry said, it's all going to work out. It's all good. I really like this guy. I don't know, Catherine said. She yawned. You don't think it looks too old-fashioned? They went upstairs and Catherine took a bath while Henry tried to coax King Spanky out of the bed. But King Spanky would not come out. When Henry got down on his hands and knees and stuck the flashlight under the bed, he could see King Spanky's eyes, his tail hanging down from the box frame. Out on the lawn, the rabbits were perfectly still. Then they sprang up in the air, turning and dropping and landing and then freezing again. Catherine stood at the window of the bathroom, toweling her ears. She turned the bathroom light off so that she could see them better. The moonlight picked out their shining eyes, the moon colored for each hair dipped in paint. They were playing some rabbit game like leapfrog, or they were dancing the quadrille, fighting a rabbit bar. Did rabbits fight bars? Catherine did not know. They ran at each other and then turned and darted back, jumping and crouching and rising up on their back legs. A pair of rabbits took off like race horses, sailing through the air and over a long curved shape in the grass, then back over again. She put her face against the window. It was Tilly, stretched out against the grass. Tilly's legs and feet bare and white. Tilly, she said, and ran out of the bathroom, wearing on the towel around her hair. What is it? Henry said, as Catherine darted past her and down the stairs. He ran after her, and by the time she had opened the front door, was kneeling beside Tilly, the wet grass tickling her thighs and her belly. Henry was there too, and he picked up Tilly and was carrying her back into the house. They wrapped her in a blanket and put her in her bed, and because neither of them wanted to sleep in the bed where King Spanky was hiding, they lay down on the sofa in the family room, curled up against each other. When they woke up in the morning, Kitty was asleep in a ball at their feet. For a whole minute or two last year, Catherine thought she had it figured out. She was married to a man whose specialty was solving problems, salvaging bad situations. If she did something dramatic enough, if she fucked up badly enough, it would save her marriage. And it did, except that once the problem was solved, and the marriage was saved, and the baby was conceived, and the house was bought, then Henry went back to work. She stands at the window in the bedroom and looks out at all the trees. For a minute she imagines that Carleton is right, and they are living in Center Park and Fifth Avenue is just right over there. Henry's office is just a few blocks away. All those rabbits are just closed. Henry wakes up in the middle of the night. There are people downstairs. He can hear women talking, laughing, and he realizes Kathleen's book club must have come over. He gets out of bed. It's dark. What time is it, anyway? But the alarm clock is haunted again. He unplugs it as he comes down the stairs. A voice says, "Well, will you look at that?" And then, right under his nose the whole time, Henry walks through the house, turning on lights. He stands in the middle of the kitchen. "May I ask who is calling?" She says she has got Henry's cell phone tucked between her shoulder and her face. She is holding it upside down. Her eyes are open, but she is asleep. "Who are you talking to?" Henry says. "The rabbits," Kitty says. She tilts her head, listening. Then she laughs. "Call back later," she says. "He does not want to talk to you." "Yeah, okay." She hands Henry his phone. "Decide it's no one you know. Are you awake?" Henry says. "Yes," Kitty says. Still asleep, he carries her back upstairs. He makes a bed out of pillows in the hall closet and lays her down across them. He tucks a blanket around her. If she refuses to wake up in the same bed that she goes to sleep in, then maybe she should make it again. If you can't beat them, join them. Catherine had not had an affair with Leonard Feather. She had not even slept with him. She had just said she had, because she was so mad at Henry. She could have slept with Leonard Feather. The opportunity had been there, and he had been magical. Somehow the only member of the department who could make the photocopier make copies, and he was nice to all of the secretaries. Too nice, as it turned out. And then, when it turned out that Leonard Feather had been fucking everything, Catherine had felt she could not take it back. So she and Henry had gone to therapy together. Henry had taken some time off work. They had taken the kids to Yosemite. They had gotten pregnant. She had been remorseful for something she had not done. Henry had forgiven her. Really, she had saved their lives. But it had been the sort of thing you could do only once. If someone has to save the marriage a second time, it will have to be Henry. Henry went looking for King Spanky. They are going to see the abbot. He had the cat cage in the car, but no King Spanky. It was early afternoon, and the rabbits were out on the ground. Up above, a bird hung motionless on a hook of air. Henry craned his head, looking up. It was a big bird. A hawk, maybe. It circled once, twice again, and then dropped like a stone towards the rabbits. The rabbits did not move. There was something about the way they waited, as if this were all a game. The bird dropped through the air, folded like a knife, and then it jerked, tumbled, fell, the wings loose. The bird smashed into the grass. The wings loose. The bird smashed into grass and feathers threw up. The rabbits moved closer as if investigating. Henry went to see for himself. The rabbits scattered and the lawn was empty. No rabbits, no bird. But they're down. in the trees beside the bike path. Henry saw nothing move. King Spanky swung his tail and Bailey slunk into the woods. When Henry came out of the woods, the rabbits were back, guarding the lawn again, and Catherine was calling his name. "Where were you?" she said. She was wearing her gas mask around her neck, and there was a smell of paint on her arm. Whiskey horse, she had been painting the linen closet. King Spanky took off. Henry said, "I could not catch him. I saw the weirdest thing." Then it fell. Marcus came by. Catherine said her cheeks were thrust. He knew that if he touched her, her skin would be hot. He stopped by to see if you wanted to go play golf. "Who wants to play golf?" Henry said, "I want to go upstairs with you." "Where are the kids?" Allison took them